Hello everyone, welcome to the site Roadshow. Now we from Anaemia team will walk you through our project for the next 15 minutes. Our plan is to tackle anemia problem in Dang district, Gujarat, India. But first, let me introduce our team members. They are Elif, Charlotte, Karen, Kenneth, Lisa, Joshua, Justin, and Axel. First, let us present the region we studied, the Dang district of Gujarat in western India, and you can see its location on the map. It has a population of around 228,000, 98% of which belong to the scheduled tribes and PVTGs, or particularly vulnerable tribal groups, meaning they are very underprivileged. And they have a very specific socioeconomic setting. The major economic activity is agriculture, and the tribal communities are largely dependent on rain to feed their crops like ragi. However, 60% of the land is a forest, which makes the land repartition very scattered. The seasonal nature of crops and scattered lands forces hundreds of families to leave their homes for 4 to 8 months every year to work in sugarcane plantations. This could mean difficulty of accessing food and unhygienic housing conditions in the temporary residences they use. This would also mean skipping school for many children and eventually dropping out. The problem we treat is very tied to this lifestyle. A blood disease called anemia is prevalent in the region that about 7 of 10 women aged 14 to 49 are affected and more than that for the children. This condition is caused by lack of iron intake, which would alter the body's ability to produce a sufficient amount of red blood cells, which could mean that other body cells can't receive enough oxygen to function properly. So here are some symptoms of anemia. You can see there are tiredness, fatigue, shortness of breath, dizziness or lightheadedness, headaches, and irregular heartbeats. This can be fatal to some people. As you can see, this is the everlasting cycle that makes anemia such a big deal in the district. First is because of the migration. School absenteeism is very high, making kids dropping out, worsening the awareness and education of the kids, which can also result into poor diets they have in their daily lives. Looking at the severity of the case, we explored different ideas to deal with it. As we were narrowing down the project scope, we also came across some other already implemented practices that have brought positive impacts to the community. First is iron folic acid supplementation. This is a type of supplement that Indian government distributes to places with high anemia cases to treat the disease. The supplement can help with healthy blood production, but people there are reluctant to consume it, mainly because of the side effects it causes, like constipation. Education needs to be included for them to be more willing to accept those side effects for the better good. Second is meal programs. Meal programs, usually distributed in schools, help the locals to consume more healthy and diverse foods, and it has shown some promising results. However, it is nearly impossible to directly improve it, since intervention with the government is required. If we want to make our own meal programs, a lot of investment is needed, since it is an everlasting program, and also the program doesn't give anything new for them to change their mindsets. It can be concluded that two of the core causes of the prevalence of anemia are lack of awareness and an imbalanced diet. For those reasons, we hope to alleviate the prevalence of anemia by raising awareness and giving them some possible ways to hopefully change their lifestyles for the better. We try to tackle this issue from two main angles: education and nutrition. Our team has been working on two aspects simultaneously: designing interactive curriculum and modifying locally available recipes according to the nutritional needs. The curriculum is complemented by cooking workshops that allow the students to implement new knowledge into practice. We offer a full package, raising awareness and enhancing understanding through workshops, and cooking sessions allow the kids to have the means to change the status quo. The way we actualize it is by arranging a 3-day educational camp for the Dang's children, where children from different parts of the district can gather in one of the guest houses to join our program. In the beginning, we expect about 30 grade 5 to 8 students as our target user, which we are planning to increase as part of the future sustainability plan.
Moving to the education section, there are 3 main courses in total. First of 3 is the healthy diet course. We noted that the unbalanced diet is one of the biggest causes of anemia problem. In response to that, the course includes a daily requirement of relevant nutrition and nutritional values of common crops in Dang. The second course will be our main focus, the anemia course. We will introduce and explain the basic facts of anemia, including different types of anemia, its symptoms, causes, and treatment. The last one is the hygiene practice course. We addressed the issue of poor sanitation and personal hygiene in Dang, which catalyzed the anemia problem. Thus, we will introduce the concept of parasitic infestation and good hygiene practice in the course. In order to solidify their knowledge and provide a hands-on experience of buying nutritious products, we scheduled a market visit activity on day 2. Students can capture the full picture about the crops by actually seeing and touching them during a walkthrough guide. After that, they will buy their assigned ingredients for the food making section in groups. This is a chance for us to test whether they can distinguish different nutritious crops and apply the knowledge. The next day, we have another highlighted activity named Treasure Hunt. Students will have the opportunity to reach out to the community and spread the information they have learned, pushing people to pursue healthy habits as they do. A golden token will be given as an appreciation per attempt. A special prize will be awarded to the best performing group. It will be the last activity of the camp. The main idea is to exhibit and act on account of continuity by encouraging them to step out of their comfort zone. With the above objectives mentioned, we designed 3 food-making sections and 3 education sections alternately, as well as 2 out-of-class activities for the camp. All of their behavior and improvements will be assessed by pre-assessment and post-assessment.
For the food making session, the cooking workshop aims to teach the kids an iron-rich diet plan and hope to induce a change in their eating habits, as well as introduce them some ingredients that are rich in iron. The proposed diet plan includes 3 recipes of traditional Indian dishes, which are chikki, a sweet peanut snack, dulimangda, which is a spiced lentil soup, and parantha, a kind of Indian flatbread. We have been focusing on the choice of ingredients when modifying the recipes to increase iron absorption because iron is essential to blood production. We have added or replaced some of the original ingredients with iron-rich ingredients, such as lentils, which are used in both parantha and dulimangda, ragira, which is a kind of grain that the villagers grow in Dangs and is used in parantha. Also, peanut and jaggery are used in chikki. We have also added some ingredients that are rich in vitamin C, such as spinach, onions, and tomato, because vitamin C can greatly enhance the absorption of plant-based iron, given that the villagers are mainly vegetarian. These modified recipes can provide sufficient iron content on a daily basis. Parantha can provide 60% of the iron required in a day, dulimangda can provide 44%, and chikki can provide 49%. Following these recipes and consuming the food consistently will make a great impact in tackling anemia problem in the region. For our recipes, apart from providing sufficient iron, as we're targeting kids and Dangs, our recipes are also easy to make with just some simple steps to follow. Also, the advantage of using some traditional Indian cuisines is that they will fit the local food culture, and the local villagers in Dangs have heard of them before. After some conversation with our partner in Dangs, we have also made sure the ingredients are locally available and are affordable to the villagers, so it's more likely that they will accept and use these recipes at home.
We've come up with many ideas in the initial stage, but every time our instructors will remind us of the economic constraints. For example, We can't rely everything on electronic devices and have to make our educational materials mainly with posters. Also, we have to frequently update our ideas to the partners in India to confirm the feasibility. Like, we found it hard to access the local schools, so that we have to depend on the resort or guest house. Our partners also suggested we work on a 3-day camp instead of separate workshops. It could be better for us and the kids to familiarize with each other. To attract the students, we've made several revisions of the educational materials. For instance, we add some interesting stories that relates to their lives. Also, there are interactive games and lots of pictures and illustrations in our lessons. It's important that if the games do not go out as what we expect, we have a backup plans like providing multiple choice questions to guide them through the activities. Also, one of the most important lessons we learned is to be very careful and detail-oriented with our course materials. We have to make sure that the content is aligned with the local context, from the language we use, the figures on the posters, to the names of the fictional characters. Of course, to answer the most important question, how we can prove this camp effective in tackling anemia in Dan district. One of the most important features is the assessments. You can find details in our post-assessment. A large part of the survey is full of pictures, illustrations, or multiple choice, so that their writing ability won't restrict them from finishing the survey, and the learning outcome can be truly reflected.
So I will talk about the user feedback cooking modification. So I separate it into 3 parts. The first part is overall feedback. The recipe choice is suitable as most of the students will be familiar with the dishes. And the ingredients are available locally so we can conduct our workshop easily. So here are the recipe choices. Assessments are needed as we have to evaluate the effectiveness of our program. So we made a food frequency questionnaire in order to see the eating habits of the students. So now I'll talk about the recipe choice and the recipe modification. We try to make chicky as one of the recipe as it is recommended by Mr. Rajesh with high iron content. And we modified parentha by substituting iron-rich ingredients, for example, Spanish leaves, in order to increase the nutrition value. And we substitute wheat flour with iron-rich regular flour. So we have to add potato to mix everything into a dough. So here are the nutrition value of the dishes. To make sure the cooking utensils in LRC are enough for us to do the demonstration, we firstly received pictures from Mr. Rajesh with traditional cooking settings like this. It will be very hard for us to conduct the cooking demonstration. Unfortunately, Mr. Rajesh said he would provide us the stove like this. It would be much easier for us to do the cooking. As suggested by the teaching team, we can do some trials before conducting the workshops to see if there are any difficulties or challenges we encounter during the cooking. And it can also let the interpreters familiarize with the content. There will be demonstration of how we make our recipes. Your body will absorb 0.627 mg of iron per portion, which is about age of 9 to 13 years old daily iron needs.
For the strength of this project, firstly, our camp sections are designed to be entertaining and educational to keep the kids interested. We understand the knowledge can be difficult to the kids, so we will deliver it through games and storytelling sections. Also, we hope the kids will be able to use it in their daily lives. We have designed activities for the kids to step out of the classroom and test out their newly acquired knowledge, which helps the kids to understand the relevance of the content. Secondly, the recipes of the cooking workshop are modified to better fit in their culture. We maximized the iron content of each recipe and made sure that the food is more than delicious. We believe the recipes could blend into their eating habits and start a change in their diet. Thirdly, the operational cost of the project is very low. We use printed visual material in the teaching section and relatively low-cost ingredients in the cooking workshops. This will not cause much of a financial burden to the opposing party, and it can be implemented even in places without electricity. For the weakness of our project, firstly, our project's delivery is partially dependent on other parties. For instance, we will need certain information from the organization to fine-tune our content. We will communicate with the organization consistently to understand their needs and adjust accordingly. Also, we will need teachers that speak their language to conduct the camp, so a part of the quality will be dependent on their performance. We will practice with them before the camp and make sure they understand the rundown. Lastly, our project requires linkage with foreign organizations and their agreement to let us conduct our camp under them. Until now, we have one partnering organization that allows us to do so, but we will need more. We are currently reaching out to organizations to seek for more chances and spread our impact.
Our curriculum has been tested out on Zoom with 3 evaluation points. 1. How well can we communicate the curriculum to the local teacher? 2. How understandable is the curriculum to the local teacher? And 3. How well does the kids respond to our current content design? We have invited a 14-year-old to help us do the testing. First, we started off by teaching Elif, who does not work directly on designing the curriculum. This is to imitate communicating to the local teacher, and then Elif moved on to teach the kid while we were her assistants. From this experience, we came to realize a few issues, and our team has made adjustments accordingly. We identified the need to do color coding to increase readability. Some questions have been made easier by adding on some multiple choice options. This is to avoid the awkward silence we experienced when the kid didn't know the answer. What the kid remembered most from the lessons are those with visual aids, examples, not words or data. Even with content-heavy sections, it is essential that we keep it interesting. So that brings us to the end of the presentation. Thank you